Welcome to Visualize, the podcast where collaboration fuels change. I'm your host, Chris Baker, and each week we'll explore incredible connections between nonprofits, businesses, and the community. This is a space where we highlight inspiring partnerships, uncover strategies for creating meaningful impact, and share stories that show how working together can make all the difference. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, a business owner, or someone just passionate about building connections, this podcast is for you. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Visual Eyes. We're here at season 3. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that we're going to have an amazing new show for you for this whole new season. But before we jump in, I wanted to give a huge thank you to our brand partner for this episode, Momo Adelatif from Visuals by Momo. Momo and our team are master visual storytellers. We create powerful videos that help nonprofits and businesses connect with their audiences in a deeper, more meaningful way. Whether you need a heartfelt impact story or a captivating brand film, we can help share your narrative. Visit visualsbymomo.com or see the description notes to see how we can help you tell your story. And now let's get on with the show. Welcome, Trudy Crowetz from Nonprofits First. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Yes. Thank you. So I know you had a nice little drive down here to get to here with us today. So I want to say thank you for that, because it's very important that we, film it here in person, because we get the most out of our guests when we actually get to work together in person.
Absolutely. No problem.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And then also now I'd love for you to tell a little bit about your story and Nonprofits First.
Sure. So I'm currently the president and CEO of Nonprofits First. I've been in this position about 1.5 years, and I've actually been with the organization going on 3 years. But I actually have been involved with this organization pretty much since they started back in 2005. So back in 2005, in Palm Beach County, we were kind of known as the corrupt county. We had a lot of issues with government officials. A few of them actually went to jail during that time. So a lot of people don't know that story, that backstory. But what happened during that time also is that our nonprofit funders in the community, those big organizations that fund our nonprofit community, they got together and said, we want to make sure that this doesn't happen to our nonprofits. What can we do that will make sure that they're doing the things they need to do and that they're complying with the things that they have to do, with the public trust, basically. And so they developed this consortium of funders, got together, and they started this organization called the Center for Nonprofit Excellence. And that's actually the precursor to our organization, Nonprofits First. We had a name change a few years ago. But they started with this Center for Nonprofit Excellence, and they developed these standards of certification. Now we call it accreditation. It's gone a long way since it's been 20 years since we started. But now we have about 300 standards. We have over 80 organizations that are accredited in Palm Beach County, and these are the best of the best organizations. And they come to us to become accredited because they want to show the world that they can be trusted, that they're doing what they need to do. And so that's how we got started. So back in 2005, I was with an organization called the Arc of Palm Beach County. And they are they're a large local nonprofit organization in our county. And they came to me as a CFO for that organization and wanted me to help with the standards. And so you don't know this about me, but I'm a CPA by trade.
Okay.
And so I've been in public accounting for most of my career. But several years ago, I guess, it's in the 90s. I'm kind of dating myself now, but it's been a while. I decided that I wanted to go in the nonprofit sector, into that sector. I have spent some of my career in the private sector and realized that I had a passion for community service. So I decided that I wanted to use my skills and my expertise to help other organizations. And so that's when I decided to go in the nonprofit sector. So I helped with the standards and the start of this organization, but also I've been involved ever since then because I think accreditation, formerly known as certification, it's like the best thing. It's like since sliced bread because it really makes sure that organizations have what they need to have in place so that they can grow and develop and just do more great work in the community. So it adds to that infrastructure. A lot of times organizations have really great programs, but they might not have, what they need for HR, for finance, or for fundraising. So we come around and surround them with those wraparound services that they need to actually advance their organization. So I've been, as I was saying, I've been involved from the beginning of the start of this organization. And I have grown with the organization as I've been in a role as a chief financial officer. I've been involved with many other organizations that were accredited. I can name a few, such as United Way of Palm Beach County, the ARC of Palm Beach County, which I mentioned, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Palm Beach County, Literacy Coalition of Palm Beach County. So these are large local nonprofit organizations that are accredited agencies. And what I've been able to do personally is help them grow and develop, knowing that they had the infrastructure in place. So that's kind of where I got started in this whole scheme of things.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so one of the things that right now with the climate of nonprofits, how are you guys helping the nonprofits through this troubling time right now that they're facing?
It has been a troubling time for them. A lot of times we look back on the pandemic because that was a troubling time as well.
Yes.
And what happened, which was a little bit different during the pandemic, is, other funders and organizations came alongside to help our nonprofit organizations. And we're not really seeing that right now. And that's a concern because they're getting hit from all over. Federal funding has gone down. The state funding has gone down. Local funding is not where it should be either. So it's difficult for our nonprofit community. And what happens during these times is not only does the funding and the resources go down for our nonprofit community, but the need goes up. And so it's unfortunate. And what also happens is that people actually leave the nonprofit sector to work in the for-profit sector. So it really is a perfect storm because we need more resources and we don't have them. We need a labor force that can perform the services, and then the demand is higher. So it's really a hard time for our nonprofit community, even more so, I think, and I've been told in many circumstances, more than the pandemic, because of everything going on. At least there were some resources. For instance, a lot of people during the pandemic needed more food. There was more hunger and security. And so a lot of our funders have stepped up locally to provide that. And we're just not seeing that yet. It's a lot of uncertainty for our nonprofit community right now. And it really started beginning of this year. And it has been pretty much a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. We got funding, we don't got funding, it's just something that they've had to deal with. They don't even know. So it's just having to go day by day. What we've seen, though, from our accredited agencies, they really have the resources in place. They have good reserves in place to weather this storm. That's why we encourage people to become accredited, and we'll help them along that journey so that they can grow and develop and be a stronger organization to withstand these kinds of storms.
And it is important because right now this is something that repeats over time. Like you said, it happened during the pandemic. It happened back in 2008 when we had that recession. There's other times that this is going to happen again in the future. So what is the main focus of the nonprofit should find out? What are my revenue streams and how can I diversify them a little bit more? Because obviously the grants are gone. And that was a big consideration right now. But without them coming in, we have to look at community support. We have to look at private donors. We have to look at other revenues to pull in to hopefully get them to have that sustainability. And so you're saying the accreditation is a part of that.
Yeah, along that same lines, early this year, we looked at the situation and we said, how can we help our nonprofit community? And just exactly what you said is that the need to diversify those revenue streams. So we developed a 4-part series. It's a fundraising series, and actually it's going on this summer in June and July because we're out of season. Our season generally is from September all the way to May. So our fundraising development professionals are able to actually participate in this program. And it focuses on corporate giving. How do we get donations from corporations, individual giving, including major gifts and planned giving, focuses on grants and grant writing, and also focuses on fundraisers and fundraisers. And so it really is a comprehensive series for other organizations, nonprofit organizations, to determine how can they grow in these different areas and diversify those revenue streams. It's so important, yes.
No, the revenue streams diversification is very important. So are you planning to have the same series again in the fall or in the winter of 2025, 2026?
Yes, probably. Of course, we are a nonprofit organization as well, so we rely on resources as well. And we are very fortunate that we have a funder step up and fund this series that we have. So yes, we would love to consider that again in the future, so that those who couldn't attend perhaps during the summer can attend later in the year, or it's probably maybe in December, January.
Okay, in the wintertime. Perfect.
Right.
That would be fantastic. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and it's because of, we help the helpers. That's what we do. And so we are trying to help those nonprofits that serve the community, and doing that through so many different ways. We have a great program. It's called Rising Leaders. And it's for those up-and-comers within nonprofit organizations, kind of like a corporate management program for the nonprofit community. And so we collaborate with so many different agencies. We have about 25 in the cohort that actually attend. It's an 8-month course, and they learn about individual skills that they need to move up in an organization. Some of those include like emotional intelligence and project management and team building and those types of things that they learn collectively. And it's a great program. We also have another program that is actually a more advanced program called Advancing Leaders, and it's for those moving into senior management positions. And the focus of that is more on collectively, what are the skills I need to know to run an agency? So we focus on those things that I talked about already, that fundraising development piece of it, finances and budgeting, human resources, board governance, marketing and branding, for instance, technology, cybersecurity, all those things come into play. And so we're developing those leaders. And that's why I say it's essential for our nonprofit community, because nonprofits are very focused on programs and the services that they provide, and so they should be, because they're trying to make an impact in the community. What we're doing is we're coming alongside them and helping them so that they internally can grow and develop and provide more services to the community. They want to make more of an impact. That's our mission, is to help empower nonprofit causes to achieve their missions. So our focus is really on them and not on us, and that's what I love about our organization.
That's fantastic. That is amazing. So I know you guys are collaborative masters, because you're helping over 250 nonprofits right now, and you support all 8,500 nonprofits in Palm Beach as well, if they need any resources or any educational moments. So you guys are doing a lot of collaboration already. Can you explain a little bit more, because you've touched a little bit on Rising Leaders, you touched about Advancing Leaders, but there's so much more that Nonprofits First does for the community. Can you dive deeper into those?
Sure. So one of the other programs that I haven't talked about is called 101 for the 501. And it is truly a collaborative effort. We actually go into the community. This past time it was at the Junior League of Boca Raton. We collaborated with them to provide a course for those small grassroots organizations to talk about what they need to run an organization. And so, and after that, we actually had a second course. It's called 201 for the 501, and it has those more advanced concepts. So we partner with other organizations such as the Junior League. We partner with other types of organizations that are similar to ours, like Spirit of Giving. It's mostly South County. We're doing a collaborative summit with them in August. We partner with Extraordinary Charities, which is an organization that helps the smaller nonprofit organizations. We do funder panels with them. So we are collaborating with all of those as Nonprofits First, but we also collaborate with the nonprofit sector as a whole. As I mentioned, on those different programs that we offer, we actually go out in the community. For instance, our Rising Leaders program, they went out to the Girl Scouts Council. So they get to see the work of the nonprofit community at the same time they're learning in that environment. We do that with advancing leaders as well. We go out, they go to the Cultural Council for Palm Beach County, for instance, and they have a session there. So we're getting out into the community. We're exposing all of those participants to the nonprofit community so that they can know of the work. And the goal of that is to stimulate other collaborations. We want them, the participants who are from many nonprofit organizations, to see the work of other nonprofits so that they can collaborate together, because we know the strength and power in collaboration.
What advice would you give to a brand new nonprofit just starting out at this moment, and especially in this climate?
For a new nonprofit, assuming that they've already gotten their status as a nonprofit, because a lot of times people will come to us before they actually become a nonprofit.
Okay.
And we actually like to, one of our core values is called the community circle. We like to connect people in the community. So, for instance, I had somebody who came to me that had an auditory literacy program that they wanted to start a 501c3. Well, I actually referred her to the Literacy Coalition, and they connected, and they actually are helping her with developing that program so that she didn't have to start her own 501c3. Because what we see is that there's a lot of startup information that you need to do. There's a lot to be considered. There's a lot of due diligence that goes into starting a nonprofit. And there's, it's a heavy lift. It really is.
Yeah.
And so, but we do have others that come to us that have already started their nonprofit, and we guide them. I call it the continuum. So we start them we try to get them to come to our 101 for the 501 course.
Okay.
To become members of nonprofits first, we have a lot of member benefits that we offer our nonprofit community. So if they can become members, we have a lot of educational programs that they can avail themselves of. And we do networking so that they can become familiar with others in the community who support nonprofits. We have an affiliate program which consists of for-profits that we connect to our nonprofits. So they're able to provide services, and they specialize in the work of the nonprofit sector. So that's really good for our community moving forward. Then, of course, after the 101, they become members, they get into the 201 course, and now they're learning the more advanced concepts. So we're moving them along that continuum that we have so that they eventually could aspire towards accreditation. And as I mentioned before, accreditation is the cream of the crop. And who doesn't want to be the cream of the crop?
Yeah.
I had called it the Elite 80 because we had 80 agencies at one point. Now we're growing and developing because organizations are seeing that it's a need for them to become accredited because they want to develop those compliance, the best practices and such, and move their organization. They've seen the success of those other organizations that have moved along that line and become accredited. And it's so rewarding for us to see that because we know we're helping the nonprofit community as we move towards that.
So you've explained, or you talked a little bit about accreditation, but what is involved in the accreditation? Is it, having all of the financials clearly laid out so that, their 1099s are easily found? What goes into the accreditation? Yeah,
there's a lot that goes into accreditation. We have it pretty much divided into 4 key areas. And you'll hear me talk about these 4 key areas over and over again, because that's the areas that we specialize in and we provide services in. So it is fundraising and development. It's board governance, it's finances, it is human resources. So we actually have those 4 categories that are required for people to become accredited. We have about 300 standards over those 4 different categories. So when an agency wants to become accredited, they will come to us and they tell us they want to become accredited, and then we guide them along the way so that they can meet all of those standards. But we don't, unless they have not heard of us previously, we familiarize them with these different standards all along the way. So that continuum, they hear about it in 101, they hear about it in membership, they hear about it in 201. All along that continuum, they're hearing about all the different standards. Yeah. We actually have a toolkit that we actually sell. It's a self-assessment toolkit, but we also give that to them in 101 and 201. And if they take both of those courses combined, they will have all the standards that they need to become accredited. So they have the opportunity to develop those standards and make sure they meet those standards before they actually become accredited. So accreditation usually takes an organization anywhere from 12 months to 18 months.
Okay.
And so we're finding that those who participate in our programs on the front end usually only take about a year. And those who, some of our funders do mandate accreditation, and they might not be exposed to it prior to that. And those are the ones that are taking the full 18 months. So it's more of a heavy lift if they don't go through that whole process. But we're there for them, and we provide additional support along the way so that they can become accredited because they know the value of it.
I love that you guys are like the guides that are just helping the nonprofits move forward. So if you guys have not heard of Nonprofit First up in Palm Beach County, please check them out. It's an amazing organization that'll help you get accreditation, as well as give you resources and education that you may not even known existed or know that's out there. So how do people get a hold of you guys at Nonprofits First?
Well, there's several ways. We have a very dynamic website. It's nonprofitsfirst.org. Going on, and that all the programs that I talked about today are on there. There's one I didn't mention, which I want to make sure I mention, is our Hats Off Nonprofit Awards.
Yay.
And that is like the Academy Awards of nonprofits. So we honor the organizations, the volunteers, the staff of all of our organizations. And this year we actually are changing it up a little bit. And prior to this year, this is our 9th year, prior to this year, we had organizational awards categorized by small, medium, large. What we're doing this year is called Impact Awards. And so we're going to give out 5 Impact Awards, and the 5 different areas are going to be arts and culture, environmental and animal charities, education, health and wellness, and family services. And so each of our organizations, of those 8,500 that I talked to you about, they can be nominated, and also have individual awards that we give out. For instance, we have MVP, Most Valuable Player in the Most Valuable Professional. We have a Professional of the Year Award. We have an Executive of the Year Award, a Volunteer of the Year Award. We also give out an award for innovation for an agency. And also we have a Community Collaborators Award. And then we also have a People's Choice Award. So everybody gets to vote on what agency they want to get the People's Choice. So we really try to make it, in line with one of those Hollywood award shows.
Right.
And it's called Hats Off because people wear different hats. So we actually have an award for hats, the best hat. And we have our secret judges going out in that during the event to see which hat. And, we find that there's stories behind the hats, and that's what usually wins. And so it's a great evening. We have about 700 people in attendance, so it's very well attended by our nonprofit and for-profit sector.
That's fantastic.
And it's just really celebrating our nonprofit community. As I mentioned, it's our only fundraiser for the year. It's a fundraiser and a fundraiser because we know that, there's limited resources, and we want to make sure that our nonprofits that we're supporting actually have the resources that they need. So it's one time a year. It's October 9th at the Crowetz Center in West Palm Beach.
I was just going to ask the date, so I'm glad that you answered that one.
Yeah, it's 5:30 to 7:30. It's, it's a great time to celebrate our nonprofit community.
Perfect. So nonprofitsfirst.org. Please go check out. And then also,
you can call 561-214-7435. That's our main number.
Is there an email that would be a good email to reach out for any questions that they might have?
Yeah, we have a general info at nonprofitsfirst.org.
So info at
nonprofitsfirst.org.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect. And so one last shout out to Momo at Visuals by Momo for supporting this episode. And my last question is, the legacy that you personally want to leave for future generations?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. I am a finance professional. I have many things I want to do before I leave, but one thing that I want to do, I want to strengthen the finance and accounting professionals within the nonprofit sector. I'd like to see more diversity added to our nonprofit community in those areas.
Okay.
And I'd also, I would like to say I've won, but I'd like to also expand the reach and meet the needs of more nonprofit organizations. I know we have a large need, and so meeting the need of our nonprofit community. And I actually want to expand the scope of the services we provide. With technology as it is, I think there's a lot that we can do, not only for our local community, but also for other counties within the state of Florida, other states. We have a really good organization, and I think if we could focus on expanding the scope, and that's a big one, but I'd like to see our scope increase and just cover more area.
You guys do amazing work. I've been up there multiple times to do some trainings for you guys and classes, and I'm just blown away at your team. So thank you guys for what you do in the community, and thank you for coming on to the show.
Of course. Thank you. I have a great team. I'm very proud of them. So thank you.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Visual Eyes. We hope that the inspiration and practical insights can help you foster stronger connections and meaningful change. Don't forget to subscribe, share the episode, and leave us a review. To learn more about Visuals by Momo and how we support collaboration and storytelling, visit visualsbymomo.com. A huge thank you to everyone out there listening. Until next time, remember, collaboration fuels change, and your connections can inspire the world.